I was raised where the wind does not sing, but tears at your face like it's trying to erase the fact you were ever born. And every step forward felt like an argument with something ancient that wanted me gone. There were no guiding voices, no warm fires promising safety, only the sound of my own breath proving I was still here, and a quiet understanding that nobody was coming to carry my weight for me. So I began carving my thoughts into the darkest corners of myself, turning doubt into something solid, something I could step on instead of something that could drown me. Pain stopped being an enemy, Kim became a teacher whose lessons never ended, whose hands were cold and merciless but honest in ways comfort never was. And somewhere along the way, something inside my chest stopped asking for permission to exist and started demanding space, started growing teeth, started refusing every quiet death I had once accepted. It did not beg the world to change, it did not ask the gods for favor, but simply stood up beside me and decided that whatever came next would have to face me standing. If my body breaks one day beneath the weight of everything I chose to carry, instead of abandoning, then let it break while I am still moving forward, and not while I am hiding. If my breath finally leaves me in the middle of the storm instead of the safety of shelter, then let it leave knowing it belonged to someone who never traded his fire. Comfort, I do not want to be remembered as someone who survived by shrinking, but as someone who became too vast to be contained by fear. And if the gates of Valhalla never open for a man like me, then I will build my own hall from the echoes of every battle I refuse to lose inside. I have felt the presence of fear, not as a monster stalking me from the dark, but as the reflection in my own spirit that refused every chain the world tried to convince me was necessary. Cause the real prison was never iron or rope, but the quiet voice that whispers you are smaller than your hunger, smaller than your purpose, smaller than the fire you feel, but are afraid to unleash. And every time I chose to continue when it would have been easier to disappear, I felt those invisible chains crack just a little more, felt something older and stronger step closer to the surface. The gods did not shake me with gentle hands, they shake me through absence, through loss, through every moment I had to decide alone who I was willing to become. I do not walk forward because I believe I cannot fall, but because I know falling is part of the path, and rising is the only answer I have ever allowed myself to give. And even when no voice speaks my name and no eyes witness the distance I've crossed, I know the man I'm becoming is real because I paid for him with everything I have. Breaks one day beneath the weight of everything I chose to carry, instead of abandon, then let it break while I am still moving forward, and not while I am hiding. If my breath finally leaves me in the middle of the storm instead of the safety of shelter, then let it leave knowing it belonged to someone who never traded his fire. Comfort, I do not want to be remembered as someone who survived by shrinking, but as someone who became too vast to be contained by fear. And if the gates of Valhalla never open for a man like me, then I will build my own hall from the echoes of every battle I refuse to lose inside. And when the ravens finally descend from the endless sky to see what remains of me after the storms have taken everything they came for, they will not find a man who waited for permission to live. They will find the remains of something that chose its own fate, something that stood in defiance of silence and forced even eternity to remember that it was here